Whether you just bought an old boat that needs some love, or you've got an old boat that you've owned for a long time that needs some love, anytime you take on a project to fix a boat up, you're going to be faced with a bunch of decisions. We're going to jump into one of those this morning on my charter boat here in Jupiter, Florida. I'm George LaBonte, and this is Mission Boating. I'm standing here this morning in front of the very same boat that I used to charter fish here out of Jupiter, Florida. Now, any charter boat that sails a lot like this one does is going to need, eventually you're going to hit a point where you're going to need to give it some love. The boats get a little banged up, they get scratched up from just hard use, and you want the boat to look nice so your customers really get a sense of confidence when they come down there and they know they're fishing with a guy that cares about all of his equipment. On this boat, we've recently updated the paint on the top sides and replaced all the soft goods, including coaming bolsters replaced with SeaDeck, isinglass curtains, and all new cushions, and the paint job really made a difference. One thing that I never considered is how much of a difference it makes when you replace the rub rail on a boat, and that never became more obvious than when we finished the paint and saw what we were up against looking at this older black rub rail. There's a lot of paint bleed over on it, and it's the first thing you notice when you walk up to the boat. We're going to do something about that today. Now, once we decided that we were going to change the rub rail, I started looking into the various products that are going to be at my disposal, and I had no idea there was so much selection. And I reached out to Taco Marine to ask them about what would be a good option for this whitewater. We knew that we wanted to change it out with white to dress it up a little bit, but I didn't know there was going to be that many choices to make. I'm glad I did, because the people at Taco suggested, once we narrowed down the color and what the boat was, that I get a couple of samples sent my way to try to hold up against the boat and look at it and see how it was going to look, and more importantly, how it was going to fit, before they sent me an 80-foot roll of this product. Now, this is one of the sample pieces that Taco sent me, and this is actually the piece that we decided to go with. And you notice here, what I really wanted to be sure of was that the width was going to be exactly proper, and that the overhang on the bottom of the piece would fit on the underlying overhang on the cap, where the cap meets the hull side there. And as you can see right here, this is going to be a perfect fit. Now, as you might imagine, it's going to save both you and the manufacturer, in this case Taco, a lot of aggravation, avoiding the need to send an 80-foot roll of this product and have it not be the right material, rather than send you one 12-inch section of it to use for a sample piece. This just makes good sense, and it's practical on both people's end. We're getting ready to tear this old black rub rail off right now and replace it with this new white SuproFlex with a chrome insert that's going to look really, really classy on the boat when we're done. And as I said, when you walk up to the boat in the morning to go on a charter, this is one of the first things that you see. And when that greets you and you see this old material covered in paint, it just looks kind of trashy. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this is going to turn this boat around and complete the work that we've already started. Okay, we've got the old rub rail completely removed, and the surface underneath it is cleaned up and prepped, ready to receive the new rub rail. I've got this SuproFlex in white, and we stretched it out on the dock to measure it and to find the midway point before we bring it into the boat and begin to attach the hardware. Okay, we've got one side of the boat completed here. We've got the rub rail attached, and we're getting ready to work our way down the other side. Now, an important thing to remember is this may not be the ideal situation. We're going to attach all this rub rail while we're on the boat, on the outboard side of the boat. Now, while that might not be ideal, this is a really simple process, and it is possible to do it. Of course, it'd be a lot easier if we were standing on the ground and the boat was on a trailer, but in this case, we can't do that. We're still able to complete this installation the way it is. As soon as we complete the installation on this side, we'll get ready to put the insert in, which is going to be a stainless, like a chrome look insert, and that's really going to set this whole project off. As it is right now, the boat looks 500% better than it did with the old black rub rail. Okay, as you can see, we're in the home stretch here applying this white SuproFlex Rub Rail from Taco Marine, and it looks spectacular. All we've got left to do is finish applying this chrome insert, and this is done, and you can see this has made a world of difference in the total overall appearance of this boat. I could not be happier with how this has turned out. Now, an important thing to note, this installation is not something that requires the attention of a professional. If you've got minor skills at putting things together like this, any kind of handiwork like this, you're gonna find it very simple to do this, especially if you consult a video that Taco has put together on their YouTube channel that completely outlines the entire process, and just about anybody is gonna be able to do this without too many problems. This could not have been simpler for us to install. As a final thought, whenever you're undertaking a project like this, remember the end result is always going to be worth it, and this has proven to be a major upscale to this boat. Now, the boat looked good when we finished the paint job, but just adding this little piece of rub rail made such a difference, and this is what I like to call like curb appeal. I mean, I want somebody to walk down the dock and feel like they're getting on a really nice boat that's well taken care of, and this illustrates that point absolutely perfectly.